The Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leisure Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to the Paracave Podcast, and it is NRL season 2024. It is upon us, and look, it is round one, but it is round one with a difference. The football season is kicking off, the NRL season is kicking off in Las Vegas, just in case you didn't know that by now. But yes, it is, and a little bit of a historic weekend in rugby league, round one, season 2024, as 4 teams are playing over there in Las Vegas this weekend. This Saturday, Las Vegas time, Sunday, Australian time, and the rest of round one will be played next week. So look, it is upon us. So excited to see this. Look, I must admit, I am a little bit jealous because I have seen all friends and fellow podcasters going over to Las Vegas for this. I'm seeing them all on Instagram and the stuff like that, and all their videos and the like. But hey, it is what it is. They will no doubt enjoy this week over there in Las Vegas. But anyway, it's all about the football. And look, throughout 2024, I will have a Team List Tuesday podcast, which will sort of go into a tipping podcast for my tips each week. So see if you agree with my tips each week, or maybe you might not agree with my tips. Who knows? But last couple of years I've gone reasonably well in tipping competitions. Not to say that I'm an expert or anything, but that's just my tips, and see how you go. But anyway, look, it is round one, Las Vegas. It is Manly versus the Rabbitohs over there at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the stadium where this year's Super Bowl was played between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. So apparently the field is a little bit smaller than a regulation NRL field, so that might be a little bit interesting to see how that goes. By all reports, there has been about 25 to about 30,000 tickets sold at the moment. As I said, I know a lot of Aussies going over there. Also know a few Americans, rugby league fans, that are going as well. Shout out to Ron Greep, former guest on the Paracave podcast, who is a massive Parramatta Eels fan, but he also does enjoy his NRL, and he would not miss this for a thing. Live NRL action in Las Vegas, in America, so he will be there as well. And look, former guest on the podcast, Chris Ricketts, who does live overseas, not in Australia anymore, but he is going over to Las Vegas as well, so stay tuned. We're going to try and catch up with him on the... I'm going to try and catch up with him on the Monday Australian time, which will be Sunday Las Vegas time, and just get his experience firsthand from someone who was there at the games and in and all around the rugby league over there in America. Look, Sea Eagles, Rabbitohs, 1:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So, can't wait. That's the first game, exclusively live on Fox League and KO. And look, Tommy Trbojevic, he is back up against Latrell Mitchell. Look, we'll run through the Manly side first. We've got Tom Trbojevic, Jason Saab, Kula, Ruben Garrick, Jackson Paulo. Luke Brooks is the 5'8" for Manly. He's transferred over to Manly this year, so he's in the 5'8" role. DCE, Daly Cherry Evans as captain, Paseka prop, Josh Alloy in the other prop position, Lachlan Croker, Homoli Olakawatu. Look, I'm really excited to see him play. I really like the way he plays in that second row position, and look, he can be a real force at times, can pull off some big hits. And partnering him in the second row, Ben Trbojevic, and at lock, Jake Trbojevic. So we've got the three Trbojevic brothers, the three Turbo brothers playing, and I would believe that this may be, just maybe, one of the first times. I know they have played together before, yes, that's right. But look, an amazing feat. Three brothers playing first grade football in the starting lineup for Manly. Look, just casting my memory back quickly, I don't think, back in the 80s, obviously you had the Mortimer brothers, the Hughes brothers. 90s, you probably had the Walters brothers, Kerrod, Steve and Kevin. They probably would have played maybe at Queensland level, potentially, or there might have been only one that missed out, as Kerrod and Steve were hookers, so potentially that could have been the case. I think actually Steve came in for Kerrod when Kerrod got suspended once for Queensland, but no doubt they would have played together somewhere along the line, not in first grade, I don't think, but and more recently, a few years ago now, for South Sydney, you had the Burgess brothers all play in a game. So Tom, George, Sam and Luke Burgess all played in a game. I think it was at the Sydney Football Stadium, by memory. So, yeah, magnificent effort there for the Trbojeviches. And on the interchange bench, Carl Lawton, Corey Waddell, Ethan Bullimore and Nathan Brown, who arrived at Manly as on a train and trial deal, but has seen him picked up in the top 30. And look, excited to see Nathan play. He was one of my favourite players when he played at Parramatta. At the end of his Parramatta career, and recently the end of his Parramatta career probably didn't end the way he wanted it to end. A few injuries and maybe a few disagreements as well, and that's why he ended up leaving the club. I believe went to the Roosters and probably didn't play a lot of first grade, maybe one or two games here and there, and has now found himself at Manly playing against one of his former clubs, South Sydney. So I'm really excited to see Nathan play, especially off a dropout. I used to watch him at Parramatta, and he used to fair dinkum stand on the 50-metre line, and if Parramatta were receiving the ball, he would stand on the 50-metre line, and as soon as that ball went up in the air, he would just start running right off the back fence. So, well, not right off the back fence, obviously, but from the 50-metre line anyway. But, got that head of steam up and just took off. So, looking forward to seeing Nathan Brown play. Look, for South Sydney, Latrell Mitchell, Alex Johnston, who will probably break the try-scoring record in rugby league history this year at some point, I would think, is on one wing. And look, Jacob Gagai is on the other wing. Now, a interesting story here, 28 years old, making his NRL debut, so congratulations to him. It just shows you that if you never give up, and you're determined to play, I guess, first grade rugby league, then if you're determined and you train hard, play hard in the lower grades, then one day your shot may come. So congratulations to Jacob, making his NRL debut over in America, of all places, where NRL Rugby League anyway, is making its debut. So, congratulations to him. Tass and Kinnear in the centres. Obviously, Jack Whiten is suspended at the moment, and Campbell Graham is unfortunately injured and won't be back till about around 1920, which is unfortunate for the South Sydney club, as he was one of their best players last season. Cody Walker, Lachlan Ilias, the halves combination from last season, in the halves. Totola, Cook, Kepi. Sean Kepi is a new recruit for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. He comes across from the Manly Sea Eagles, so he's playing his old club, so that'll always be interesting to see how that goes. I guess players love playing their old clubs in games, and no doubt he would have had this round, or this game, circled as soon as the draw came out and knew that he was playing his old club. So he's got a crack in the front row, the starting front row for South Sydney, so he'll want to give that shot the best he could give, and especially against his old club. So that'll be interesting to see how he goes. Kolomatangi in the second row, Jai Arrow, Cameron Murray, the captain. So and on the interchange bench, Havili host Moali and Tom Burgess, who is apparently playing his last season in the NRL with South Sydney before heading back to England. This game is going to be... Look, there's some great clashes, head-to-heads anyway, in this game. Obviously, Tom Turbo, he's back. He hasn't played since round 15, 2023, so great to see him back, and by all reports, he's fit and raring to go. Latrell Mitchell, he's up against Latrell Mitchell at the fullback position. Always a lot of pressure on Latrell at South Sydney, but he'll be loving this occasion, no doubt, playing at the home of this year's Super Bowl and over in America, and he will love this game to play in, that's for sure. So that's a good clash. Who will get more tries in this game, Jason Saab or Alex Johnston? The halves are a bit of an interesting one. So obviously you've got Luke Brooks and DCE for Manly. You've got Cody Walker, Lachlan Elias for South. So Lachlan is probably the inexperienced one out of these four, but Luke Brooks is playing at a new club. So interesting lineups there, matchups there, and Kolomatangi versus Olakau'atu, and Jake Travojevic, Cameron Murray. So some great battles there. A lot of people are tipping Manly. They've actually based themselves in Las Vegas for the week, so getting acclimatised as well. And a few barbs have come from Anthony Seibold, the head coach of Manly, saying why isn't the other three NRL clubs base themselves in Las Vegas as well, trying to promote the game. So that will be interesting. Obviously, Anthony Seibold previously coached the South Sydney Rabbitohs, so yeah, very interesting in that one. So a lot of people are actually rating Manly in this game to get the win. So look, this is an interesting one. I don't know who I'm going to tip in this one. Look, I think I might tip Manly actually in this one. I don't know if Souths are traditionally slow starters or not, as I check out the team stats, but I don't know if they're slow starters or not. But I don't know. I get that sense that Manly, they're in Las Vegas. Look, since 1998, they've played 43 times, 21 wins apiece and 1 draw. So whoever wins this game is going to obviously take that head-to-head 1 victory in front. So look, over the years since 1998, there probably hasn't been anything between them. So, yeah, look, I'm going to tip Manly in this one, but look, it's going to be a cracker of a game. Manly go in as outsiders. South's a favourite. South will want to get off to the season off a good start, like they did last year, but faded away in the back end of last year to miss out on playing finals. Manly also didn't play finals as well, so both of these teams will want to put in a great performance and get a win first up. But I'm going to tip Manly in this one. Now, over to the second game, which is between the Roosters and last year's grand finalists, which is the Brisbane Broncos, who went down to the Penrith Panthers. But two of the most favoured teams in this year's competition to potentially take that crown off Penrith and get that premiership victory. Obviously, Brisbane will want to go one better than they did last year, and they want to go one better than they did last year and win this competition. The Roosters, they made finals last year, but didn't really do anything in finals, and they're one of the most favoured teams in this competition. They've got a very strong roster. They've added a couple of players to their roster as well. One of their players, unfortunately, Dom Young, won't be playing this game after suffering an injury in a trial game 2 weeks ago now. Not last weekend, the week before. And to a unfortunate crusher tackle. So it's just precautionary, so he's not going to be playing this game. So a massive blow for him personally, not playing in this Las Vegas game, as I'm sure he would have been excited to play over in America with his new club. But look, since 1998, these two teams have played 47 times. The Broncos hold a one-game win advantage, 24-23. The last time these two teams played, it was a Broncos victory, 32 points to 10. That was at the Gabba in Brisbane, whilst the World Cup of women's soccer was being played. So that was at the Gabba. So look, let's have a look at their team lists and look for the Roosters. Tedesco, Tupu, Billy Smith, Joseph Manu in the centres, Suali'i on the wing, Kiri Walker, new recruit Spencer Linu, Brandon Smith, Lindsay Collins, who had a wow of a season last year, Sia Wong, and look, one player who I'm really excited to see come back this year after suffering, I think it was an ACL last year. And look, I love the way he plays, and I'd love to have him at Parramatta, but obviously that's not going to be the case. But he's back this year. He's got the long locks, and of course I'm talking about Satili Tupanua. So good to see him get back into that second row starting spot. Victor Radley in the lock position. Sandon Smith, he's made a claim for that 14 jersey, with obviously Connor Watson as well. He can play a few utility positions in a team, but Sandon Smith has got that spot. He can probably play a bit of hooker, can probably play 5'8" halfback if need be. White, Nat Butcher and Terrell may make up the interchange bench. So Angus Crichton and, as I said, Connor Watson, they miss out. They are in the extended reserves bench, but they miss out on a starting spot or a bench spot. So interesting there. Look, that's a pretty strong lineup. As we flash over to the Brisbane Broncos, Reece Walsh at fullback, Jesse Arthurs, Katoni Staggs, Selwyn Cobbo gets Herbie Farnworth's centre position, so excited to see Selwyn and see how he goes in the centre position. Obviously, started on the wing for the Broncos last year, played a little bit of fullback as well, and can play fullback if needed as well, but he's got that centre position. Mariner, Ezra Mam, Adam Reynolds, Corey Jensen gets Tom Flegler's prop position. Flegler going to the Dolphins, so he now gets a crack at that starting prop position. Billy Walters, Payne Haas, Pia Kura, Jordan Ricky, Pat Carrigan. And on the bench, Tyson Smoothie, Fletcher Baker, who came from the Roosters, is playing against his old club, Kobe Hetherington, and Xavier Willison. So, look, a reasonably pretty strong squad as well, and as I said, many tip maybe one of these two teams to take out this year's competition. But look, Reece Walsh, he's on the big stage, he's in Las Vegas, he's playing at the home of this year's Super Bowl. He will love this situation, as any player would who is lucky enough to play in this game. He will love it. Absolutely. We saw in Brisbane a few weeks ago now when Tom Brady was on tour, doing a speaking tour. We saw him catch a pass from Tom Brady, and look, he can do it all. He's a real excitement machine, so keep an eye out for Reece Walsh. Look, if there's any American listeners out here listening to this, and obviously try and get there. I do have a few American listeners that listen in every now and again. Reece Walsh is one player that you want to watch in this game. Bit of a excitement machine. So keep your eyes open for him. As I said, Selwyn Combo in the centres. His centre partner, Tony Staggs, can go alright. Ezra Mam, he scored 3 tries in the grand final last year against the Panthers, and he'll be wanting to step it up. Dalian 5/8 of the year last year. Adam Reynolds, who just recently, as of yesterday, signed a contract extension to keep him at Brisbane until the end of 2025. So, couple of more years, including this year at Brisbane for the captain, Adam Reynolds. Payne Haas, he's been rated as one of, if not the best front rower in the game. Could easily play NFL if wanting to, or if offered, I guess. But he's a rugby league player at the moment, so plays a lot of minutes, does a lot of hit-ups, a lot of tackles, so he is one to watch as well. Pat Carrigan, you know what we're going to get from him. For those who don't know, he's a 80-minute player. He's just going to keep on going and going, a real workhorse. Okay, tip time. I'm going to go Brisbane in this game, and I just think they will want to get off to a good start to try and challenge again for that title. The Roosters, though, they've got a really good, strong side, but I'm going to go with the Brisbane Broncos in this game. I'm not too sure what the score is going to be, whether there's going to be a lot of points or not scored in it, but I think with Adam Reynolds' kicking game and this field potentially, or it is a little bit smaller than normal, with his kicking game, I think he will be able to adjust to that really quickly. He's got a great long kicking game, short kicking game, so his kicking game will be very important in this game. So I'm going to go the Brisbane Broncos in this one, in a tight one. I don't think it'll be a blowout score. I think it'll be a tight one, and I'm going to go, I'll say Selwyn Cobbo in his new position of centre as first try scorer in this game. In the last game, the Sea Eagles and the Rabbitohs, I will tip, let me just bring this one up. Look, I'm going to tip Alex Johnston to get his try scoring season on a quick kickstart, I guess you could say, by scoring a try in the first round and getting closer to that try scoring record. So there you go. I'm going to tip Alex Johnston in that one as the first try scorer. Look, they are my tips for this double header of round one. Look, it's going to be great. I'm going to be watching it on Fox League. Can't wait on Sunday. It's going to be great to watch. Rugby league in America. And look, this is a 5-year deal over there, so hopefully this one can gain a bit more momentum next year as well. And we may see even more fans there anyway. So look, if there's any Americans, and please pass this on to any American friends that you know, if you can get to Las Vegas on the weekend, then go and watch some NRL rugby league, because you will not be disappointed. It's a completely different game to NFL. We all talk about it as Australians. No pads, no helmets. Probably the only thing is mouth guards. And the hits are unreal. The pace of these guys are unreal. And if you get a chance, American listeners, check out nrl.com.au and have a look at Russell Crowe. I'm sure you all know who Russell Crowe is, and check out how he explains the game of rugby league. It's very detailed and a great job from Russell about the game of rugby league. So if you can get to Las Vegas, then go and watch some rugby league and get those numbers up in the stadium. It'd be great to see 50,000 there, but look, this is only the first year, but I'm sure that the Americans will take it on board and watch it, not only live, but I think they'll watch it on their Fox coverage over there in the US as well, being in prime time, afternoon time, or Saturday evening time, I should say, and something new, something exciting. Get excited about it. I'm excited about it, and it's a once in a lifetime thing if you can get to it, that's for sure. And it's the first ever double header in America of NRL in Las Vegas, so there will never be a first again. So if you can, get to it or watch it for sure on your TV screens over there in America, because you will love it. Anyway, that is the first two games of round one. I will be back next Tuesday with the rest of round one, Team List Tuesday, and my tips for that round. So enjoy the weekend, enjoy the Sunday's games in Australia, obviously Saturday over in the US. I'm excited. NRL season 2024 is here. Let's bring it on. Love it. Until next time, thank you very much for listening. Please support the podcast by following it on the social media channels, and also subscribe to the podcast as well on the podcast platform that you are listening to. Thank you, and enjoy your NRL.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.